Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mark Brantley, and welcome to the first edition of On the Mark for the new year 2026. I start, of course, by wishing everyone a happy new year. I know that I'm late because normally we start the show much earlier, but I had some travel that intervened, and I didn't want anyone else to start off the year on the show but me. And so I'm here tonight with our first show to say good evening to you wherever you are. To the beautiful people of Nevis, those of St. Kitts, those who are in the wider Caribbean, and those, of course, who are in the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, and elsewhere in Europe, those who are scattered all across the globe. Good evening to you. Good morning to you if you are someplace where it's already morning. And I trust and hope that you're doing well. I know that our friends in North America were experiencing some terrible snowstorms, and so I hope that you're safe and that you're staying warm. It is an absolute pleasure to be back with you, and I do apologize, as I said, but I am here with you now, and God willing, I hope to be with you every Wednesday going forward until the end of the year, as we normally do. So thank you very much. And thank you for all who have tuned in tonight. I had so many calls and messages from Canada, from all over, asking when the show is going to restart. So now the show has restarted, and I'm very grateful for you for being patient with me and for understanding. I start off tonight with some sad news, and that is that we have heard just today of the passing of Sylvanie Maynard from Hanley's Road. Well-known figure in Hanley's Road, and a woman of gentle spirit, beautiful lady, and she passed away quietly. I'm told she got to the age of 93 just several days ago, and so I want to extend condolences to her children. I was able to speak to her daughter Sharon this morning, but to all of her children, to her caregivers, to her family. I would also want to single out my colleague, brother, friend, cousin, and Deputy Premier, the Honorable Eric Evelyn, who's her nephew, and to just extend condolences to the entire family. I know that Hanley's Road is a very close-knit community. It's a community from which I myself come. I was born there, and I am always, of course, concerned when this happens because I know the entire community is in mourning. And so I just really wanted to use this rostrum that I've been afforded to send the deepest condolences to the family of Sylvanie Maynard, whom we are told passed away just today. I also would like to use this opportunity to send condolences to the family of Aretha Lizzie Wilkinson, right there in Brown Hill. Lizzie would have passed some time ago, and I have in fact reached out to some members of the family already, but I also wanted to publicly express my condolences. Lizzie was a wonderful woman, a woman who was a stalwart in Brown Hill for so many years, comes from one of the larger and more prominent families in Brown Hill, and leaves her children and grandchildren and so many to mourn her, so many who took care of her and loved her. I want to, of course, extend condolences to her children, especially my brother Clay in New York, and my sister Gerda. I've always been very close to those two, but of course her other children as well. I also like to express condolences to all of her other relatives. I can think of Joan, her sister. Joni, if you listen to me, my deepest condolences to you. And of course my brother Astro in St. Kitts, the Powell family, Jonelle, her grandson, my dear friend Nadine, so many family members. It's really just a sad day for Brown Hill. And I'm sure everybody in Brown Hill will turn out to pay their respects on the passing of Lizzie. So for all the family members, please know that you're in our prayers. I couldn't say it publicly before because, of course, this is my first show. But I really would want to extend condolences to the entire family of Lizzie. I don't even know her as Aretha. I know her as Lizzie, Colo's wife. Colo P wife Lizzie. Everybody knows Lizzie and Colo from up the hill. And so I really want to express my condolences to her family on losing her. I also would like to express condolences to the family of Sterling Heiliger, also known as Sterling Marshall, also known as DJ Marshall. DJ was somebody we all knew very well, young DJ back in the day. you know, a guy who had a lot of flair, rode motorcycles, had a beautiful sports car, really free spirit. He was one of the first pilots that we knew of here in Nevis, and DJ lived a full life. He played cricket, he worked at Nevlec for 24 years, and we were all very saddened to hear of his passing, and I would really want to express my condolences to his children and to his extended family. We have had a lot of losses on the island. A lot of loved ones have been lost, and I really just want to extend condolences to everybody who is out there and who's grieving the loss of a loved one. It's never an easy time, and in a small community like ours, certainly we all feel the impact, we all feel the consequences. And so I extend deepest condolences for those who might be sick, for those who are in the hospital, for those who might be down in their spirit because they're mourning a loss or they're struggling with something. Please know that we are thinking about you, we're praying for you, and I think that as a community for 2026, as an island, we need to do more of that. Look out for each other, pray for each other, be there for each other. I think that is very important. Forgive me, I'm coming off of a bit of a flu. So if I have to pause from time to time, I said the flu couldn't keep me away from coming to On the Mark this evening. So I'm here, and I'm definitely going to try my best to get through the next 2 hours. But I was simply extending condolences to those who are in some position this evening where they're mourning or they're having some difficulty. Certainly extend my condolences to you. Of course, on the other side, you have people who are celebrating. And if you're celebrating a birthday or you're having some occasion, an anniversary or graduation or whatever it may be, I would also want to extend congratulations to you and join you in your celebrations. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, this is the first show for the year. We are today now going into the end of January, and quite a lot has been happening. I was privileged to have my first press conference of the new year this month. Of course, it's a commitment that I made when I became Premier, and I'm very happy that as Premier of this island since 2017, that I have faithfully kept that commitment of having a press conference every month. I feel quite proud of that, in fact, because I am the first Premier for the island of Nevis to have that as part of my tenure and part of my legacy, if you will, that I would meet with the press and open the office of the Premier to questions from the press, not once, not twice, not occasionally, but every single month. It is true that we have different dates because the dates are sometimes decided by my schedule, but we have not missed a month. The only month we normally do not go is in December. And that is largely due to the fact that we have budgets in Nevis and in St. Kitts every December. But it's a good experience. And this past Tuesday, I had that press conference, and we had members of the press from both here in Nevis and St. Kitts. And they really grilled me for nearly 3 hours. There was a lot of information shared, a lot of discussions had, and it is, for me, part and parcel of being transparent and being open. I have tried my very best as Premier of this island. I have tried my very best as somebody in public life to be open and to be transparent. I have come here on Wednesdays and shared with you information, taken calls, responded to questions. The thing about these shows like this, they're live shows. This is not something that's taped or pre-recorded. And so when the lines open, we have an honest conversation, whoever calls in, and I, because the reality is that I don't know what people are going to ask, and I try my very best to answer as best as I can, truthfully, honestly, and always in a forthright and open and transparent manner. In addition, as I've said, I have the monthly press conference, which again is another example, a first, of our, again, attempt to be open, transparent with the people that we serve. I am very pleased that it is under my government that we would have activated the Integrity in Public Life legislation and created that regime for politicians and those in public life to be required to file their assets and liabilities with the Integrity Commission. I have taken that quite seriously. I didn't have to do it. In fact, there were others who said that one could not legislate integrity. And whilst perhaps that may be correct, I view it as an excuse to do nothing. And so Nevis joined the modern ranks of countries around the world and put that in place. Again, another evidence of openness and transparency. I have also, as an avid user of social media, particularly Facebook, made myself available through that medium to answer questions, to engage with persons. And the only thing that I've ever asked of anyone is that let us be respectful and let us engage with each other in a way that brings honor to us as individuals, honor to us as an island, honor to us as a country. And for me, that is important. But I do engage. In fact, perhaps among all the politicians that I see, I am one who engages through social media on a regular basis. I also have every Thursday my one-on-one sessions when I have an open house at the office. And that's when I invite people to pop in and see me if they need to see me about something. So I have tried in my way, since I've been in public life, to make myself available. I think people who know me know that they could stop me anywhere. They could ask me anything, and I do try to help where I can. It is not possible, of course, to help everyone or to give everyone what it is they want, but certainly as a public servant, I try. And I am very proud of that record thus far of being available. That is why I can say tonight that despite having the remnants of a flu, I am here because this is where I want to be. I want to be here with the people of Nevis, the people of St. Kitts, the people of the Federation, those at home, those abroad who are tuned in, to engage with you, to take your questions and to answer whatever questions I can, and certainly to share accurate information with you. Now, I want to take an opportunity to say a special thank you to my friend Everett Weber Herbert. He doesn't need anybody to thank him, I know that, and I know he's also somebody who stays away from the limelight. But he has been a consistent friend. He has been somebody who has helped me immensely in terms of my ability to engage in this type of forum on radio. And I want to thank him again, as I've thanked him over the years, for giving me the opportunity to be here. I also want to thank the law firm of Daniel Brantley, because this show has been on the air now for over 20 years. And for that entire period of time, Daniel Brantley has sponsored us. That is why we're able to be on air for 2 hours uninterrupted by commercials. You listen to other talk shows and you're constantly being interrupted. The conversation and the flow is being interrupted because they have to go to commercial break. That is not the case with this show, and we remain one of the few shows that is 2 hours, primetime talk radio, commercial free. And we're only able to do that because of the law firm of Daniel Brantley. I'm hopeful that whenever the history of this island is written, that Daniel Brantley will get a mention as an entity that supported freedom of speech and that supported this platform being on air for over 2 decades. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have some ground to cover, and I don't intend to stay too long because I'm hopeful that since you hear that I'm a bit hoarse and my voice isn't the best, that you will call in and that you will call in with whatever information, questions, comments that you have. As always, the standard for this show is the highest possible standard. As always, here on Von Radio, only the best will do. And so I serve fair warning. If you cannot conduct yourself at an acceptable standard, which brings honor to you and honor to me and honor to Nevis and honor to the Federation and honor to this show, don't call in. Save your call for some other forum which might accept mediocrity. Here we are really trying to have sensible, reasonable discussions. If we disagree, that is okay, but there's no need for us to be disagreeable. So I'm not suggesting that anybody calls in and be shy about their viewpoint. To the contrary, I think that you should believe what you believe. And let us test what you believe, what I believe, what is said, what is truth, what is not true. But at the end of the day, let us do so respectfully. I am a very, very strong proponent of engaging in respectful dialogue. I have seen in this country over the years a cheapening, a coarsening of our engagements. I see people now, and perhaps it is amplified because of the prevalence of social media, but I see people now who feel they could tell you anything. I have started even on my Facebook page to just block people because they come there with the worst bad words. And I say, well, all right, you may not like me, but at least you should have some respect for the office that I hold. If you're going to address the Premier of Nevis with bad words and with that kind of language, then it suggests to me that you have no respect. You have no respect even for yourself. Because it doesn't matter at the end of the day who's in the office. The office is deserving of respect. And so I have just started to block people because at my age now, God has blessed me on the 11th of January, I turned 57. So I am now, I think, almost close to Social Security age. At my age now, I can't be bothered with telling people you're wrong about this or you're not supposed to speak like that. I think that big people should have manners and should have respect. And, you know, the problem is that some people are out there and they say these things. And then if you were to respond to them in kind, they start to say, oh, politicians not supposed to say this and politicians not supposed to say that. So people come at you, they attack your wife, they attack your children, they attack your family, and they say the most awful things. And then they still say, well, but you're the Premier, you shouldn't respond, you shouldn't. And I try not to. I do try my best not to. You know, in fact, somebody sent me a message sometime, their screenshot of something, I don't even know what description I would have of this woman, because every morning she gets up, I'm told, she puts up something about me. But this thing was particularly nasty, calling me all manner of names. And I thought, well, why is this disrespect necessary? As far as I know, I don't have any money for her. As far as I know, I don't have anything for her. So if she says she supports NRP, well, that's a matter for her. That's her business. Right? That's neither here nor there. When the voting time comes, you're going to vote for who you want to vote for. I'm not upset with you about that. Other people support me, and I'm grateful to them. And they, in the past, have shown that they're more than who support NRP. And that's what democracy is about. But this screenshot was sent to me. And I thought to myself, what level of just vitriol? And why are people so angry? Why they have such venom inside of them? Anyway, what I found interesting is that some weeks later, during my open day, who prances into my office? But the same lady. Guess what now? She has an issue and she wants to engage with the Premier to resolve the issue. And I said, look at that. Were I a different kind of individual, I would give her the same word she give me and tell her, leave the office. But I take my responsibility as Premier seriously. And that is what I feel that we should all do. Be respectful to each other. We may not agree. In fact, in a democracy, we will never all agree. But let us be respectful to each other. And it is something that I am prepared to stand up for. And I am telling you, I'm not prepared to tolerate any disrespect from anybody, because I don't intend to be disrespectful to anybody. We have our back and forth, our little ping-pong, that's okay. But at the end of the day, a lot of people are out there in the so-called name of politics, carrying on as if they had no good, carrying on as if they're crazy, with as much venom and vengeance as they can manufacture, doing all manner of things, imposing and impinging on people's privacy, plastering people's photo all over social media, saying the most vile things, and when they can't think it, they make it up. And I'm just saying, listen, where does that take us? Where does it take us? If we disagree on something, then that's okay. I may say, as the leader of this island, I want to introduce a particular tax. You may say, as somebody who's opposed to my party and opposed to my style of governance and opposed to my ideas, say, that tax is a bad tax. That's a disagreement. It's a disagreement on policy. It's a disagreement on principle. But if you have your arguments to support why it is you disagree, then take them to the public. That is fine. That is why we have these shows, and we have social media, and we have radio and TV, and we have every medium available to us now in the modern world. But that is a difference over policy. If I say, as Premier, I have found a significant investor who's going to do a big investment in Nevis, and you are opposed to the idea of investors or that investor or that particular investment, then make your case. Why the vitriol? Why the attacks and the personal diatribe? That is the difficulty, you know, because the politics now in Nevis, thankfully, still only among the few. But particularly in the Nevis Reformation Party is a politics of hatred and vitriol. They can't discuss the tax. They can't discuss the project. They must come at you personally. And you see, the thing, ladies and gentlemen, that I find most interesting is that some of them who are talking, I wonder if they don't know that the people of Nevis know them. I wonder when they attack me, that they don't know that I know them. I know them. And I could tell them all who done thief from where they work, whether it's bank, whether it's CFBC, all who done get kicked out of high school because them trouble the underage girls up at high school. And I have the emails to show. There's a fella around here that says the Nevis Epstein. All of these people have been engaged in skullduggery. You know why I don't go down the road? Because I said at the end of the day, how does that create a job in Nevis? At the end of the day, how does that solve housing issues, water issues, health issues, infrastructural issues, electricity issues? The answer is it doesn't solve anything. It doesn't take us anywhere. But sometimes when you hear the people and you look at the character, as the old saying say, when you examine the horns, you say to yourself, is this mortal here really saying those things about me? But me never thief nothing from nobody. I have never stolen anything. There is no place in the world, and I've worked in other places in the world beside Nevis, that they could say Mark Brantley left and money missing. It has never happened. There is no place in the world that I have ever worked where they can allege that I molested or tried to molest anybody. It has never happened. I have sought to do things the right way. Not to suggest that I'm perfect, I'm far from. But I'm just saying sometimes that when you're throwing stones, but you live in a glass house. In fact, your glass is so thin, it's like eggshell. And I sometimes wonder, what would Nevis be like if the CCM responded in kind? Think about it. What would Nevis be like? What if I were to release the emails that I have of a grown man, a teacher, hitting on this little girl in school and telling the little girl all that he dream about her? A grown man. But that man is attacking me and attacking others and referring to us in the most derogatory ways. Somebody said he should be renamed Epstein, the Epstein of Nevis. But if we, as CCM, were like that, you see where we would end up in Nevis? It would be nasty. It would be dirty. It would be terrible. And you know what the problem I have with it, ladies and gentlemen, is that a lot of young, capable, able Nevisians are looking on. And they're saying, boy, I don't want to get involved in politics because politics is nasty. And so rather than seeing politics as an opportunity to serve, to engage with public service, to help people, to advance ideas that help the country, they say it's nasty, I'm going to stay away from it because I don't want nobody to tell me about my mistakes. And which of us has not made mistakes? Which of us? Remember in the Bible when they wanted to stone the woman? Says she was a woman of ill repute. And Jesus himself said to the persons gathered with their rocks to pelt at the woman, he that is without sin, let him cast the first stone. And when that hit them and hit their conscience, and they realized that they were all sinners and all had fallen short of the glory of God, they put down their stone and they walked away. He that is without sin, cast the first stone. There are too many people in Nevis right now pontificating, attacking people, and they behave as if we don't know them. We do. We know you. And so every lie that you make up and every attack and every personal thing that you do, we know you. And ask yourself the question, why is it that some in the name of politics can only attack people personally? Ask yourself the question, why it is that some in the name of politics have never advanced a single idea? I'm not talking about a book of ideas. I'm not talking about a chapter. I'm not talking about a page. I'm talking about a single idea. When these phones open this evening, I want you, if you're out there, to call in and say to me, one idea, one, not two, one idea that the opposition has championed to advance the people of Nevis. Just one. Because you see, I have lived long enough to know that criticizing is important. In fact, the people who are criticized tend to be the people who are trying to make a difference. Those are the people that you criticize, you know. Those who are out there doing something. The person who's on the field of play, while you sit in the pavilion, you say that person can't bowl. That person can't bat. You know, see every ball down the leg side. Why he play that shot for? He should have hook. He should have duck. You know all of the plays, but you're not on the field of play. And therein lies, I think, the fundamental problem that we have. There are some people who are trying their best. And being imperfect people, none of us is perfect. We make mistakes, of course. There are policy prescriptions that simply don't work. There are others, of course, that work brilliantly. But the fact is that even when you try something and it doesn't work, you pick up and you try again and you keep trying, because those are the people who make a difference in this life. Then you have these others who don't do anything. They don't do anything. They don't advance an idea of any kind to help anybody. They're not in a position to give a young man a job because them not got no job. They're not in a position to advance any word of encouragement. They are predators when it comes to our young people. They are seeking at all costs to get into government. Some of them already social security age and older. But they're seeking to get into government as if the reason for government is to save them. When the reason for government is really to help others, you know. I keep saying that it has been my mantra throughout my life in politics, that there are too many who are all about self and not about you. Government should be about you, helping you, creating policies to advance you. That single mother who's not benefiting from our policy of assistance with daycare. That single father who's not benefiting from our policy of assistance as the children transition from daycare. Those mothers down there in that development in Rices that the Honorable Eric Evelyn has just completed, who have their first home. The nearly 400 young people who now own a home in Nevis because of the policies of the CCM administration. Those are the homes we have built. That doesn't include the number who have built their own because of concessions that the government has in place for first-time homeowners. Those people up in Ghana's estate, where we said if you were a returning university graduate, we sold you land at $1 EC square foot. I was in a meeting just recently, and when I spoke about the policy, a young man raised his hand and he said, I was one of the beneficiaries. Praise be to God. He now has a beautiful home, and he has been given a start because of policies. When I look at the water taxi facility, and I talk to my partner Vincent, and I talk to the chaps from Blue Wave, and I talk to all the others who use that water taxi facility, and I realize that we've created an entire industry in Nevis from nothing because of the policies of this government. And I pass by and I see the Newcastle police station, and I see that our officers are now in greater comfort, particularly when I reflect on where they used to be. Policies, investment. When I drive on the roads in Nevis, I had some people here from Antigua the other day, and they said, my God, they could not believe the quality of roads in the island of Nevis. Policies that make sense. When we focus on drainage, we focus on doing things the right way, keeping our guts and our ravines cleared so that when the rains come, they don't cause the level of damage that we see in other places. The landslides and the difficulty. Policies that work. Ideas put to work. When we look all around this island and we see the things that we've done. When we introduced in this island a policy that if you work for government and you were not a civil servant, you are what we call an NE worker, non-established worker, that you ought not to leave empty-handed if you work for 10 years. Prior to that, there were people who worked for 40 years, and all they got was thank you very much, go home now. We said no, if you did more than 10 years, you should go home with something in your hand, and you should get something every month. Policies which are about people. I could go on and on and on to point out the things that we've done. The internet access that we've given to those households who had children of school age but could not afford access to the internet. Policies, the devices and the laptops that we made available. The assistance, our athletes just went to St. Kitts, for example. In fact, kudos to them. CSS and GSS. CSS placed second. GSS placed third. I'm told there was a tie for the gold medal count with the perennial champions in St. Kitts, the SEMS, I think they're called, the Mills High School, their secondary school in Charles E. Mills in Sandy Point. They're the champions. But they had to go to silver medal count because we are now performing at the same level as the counterparts in St. Kitts. And you know why? In part because policy. We invested in the Mondo track. We said that it was not appropriate that our youngsters in Nevis were running on grass and dirt at the ETW park and then had to switch to a proper surface when they went to compete with their compatriots in St. Kitts and elsewhere. So we said, let us build this facility. Let's give our young people a proper surface on which they can train and they can run and get acclimated. And it has paid dividends. You have seen the quality to the point now where they're going to these races in St. Kitts. And you hear that? The mighty Charles E. Mills Secondary, the dominant force in athletics, are placing even on gold medals with the Charlestown Secondary School. And then having to go to silver to decide the winner. Those are policies designed to help people. When we put our scholarship policy in place, you know how many hundreds of young people this government has assisted to go off and study. When we put our medical assistance policy in place for people who don't have insurance and are indigent, that the government can assist them with their medical expenses. When we invest at our hospital in a CT scan, in mammogram, new ambulances, trying to develop the necessary critical infrastructure so that our people could have better health care. All of those things are policy prescriptions which require the will, the dedication and the commitment. When we came up with the movie industry, we have now started the online gaming industry. When we have refined and refashioned and made better the financial services industry, adding new products and growing that industry to the point where we could this year celebrate a 30% growth. That, my friends, is progress that you can touch and that you can feel. Let us in the country have a discussion about such things. But instead of that, you're having foolishness passing as politics. Nonsense being discussed. Trying to enrage people, tell them vex with somebody. I see now people employing some language which frankly I think is and ought to have no place in our public discourse. When they can't get their way because not enough people are buying their nonsense, they start to talk about war, violence, revolution. One on a show, I played a clip here some time ago, said people like me need to be shot. That's what's happening now. You know why? Because they have no ideas. They cannot compete in terms of policy prescriptions for the people of Nevis. So when you have no ideas, what you resort to? Cussing. That's all. Because what else you have? You resort to shouting. You resort to cussing. There was an old statement that old lawyers like me used to say. When the law is on your side, you argue the law. When the facts are on your side, you argue the facts. And when neither the law nor the facts are on your side, you shout. And there's too much shouting going on in Nevis. I am asking us, it's a new year. Let's get down to where we start to debate issues. Let's start to hear from government and from opposition, these are our plans. Let us give our electorate the respect that they deserve by really putting in front of them plans and programs. Let us ask them, who do you trust in a difficult and an increasingly hostile global environment to navigate the difficulty? Who do you trust? Who do you have confidence in? Who have you seen in their personal life, in their professional life, in their public life that you think you can trust? Who do you trust to articulate your concerns? Who has a record of success? Because that's the other thing. And I want to spend a moment to talk about it because, again, I see these pundits engaging in their punditry. And I ask them, well, if you're such an expert in business, if you're such an expert in agriculture, I see a man who says he's an expert in agriculture. And somebody pointed out to what do you call the thing there? Oh dear, my mind has left me for a moment. But there's passion fruit, that's it. I know when I was at Ivor Walters Primary School, I used to grow passion fruit. I was a boy of 10. And I had a passion fruit patch. My passion fruit used to grow on Luther Williams' fence. And a man who say he has degrees, multiple degrees, and is an expert in agriculture, passion fruit patch bundong, can't maintain a passion fruit patch. Well, if you cannot maintain a passion fruit patch, how is it you think that you are capable of running the island of Nevis? You hear what I tell you? I had a passion fruit patch at age 10. Big, juicy passion fruit I used to get off it. You hear me? When Vicky called and said she want passion fruit, and Floris on the other side called and said she want passion fruit is there. Miss Bartlett below says she want passion fruit. Passion fruit when I was a boy. You tell me a big man with all the training in the world cannot maintain a passion fruit patch? So you look at them, and I see them parading themselves one after the other, attacking decent people, attacking successful people, attacking people who have done something with their lives, who have given something back to Nevis, and you look at them and you say, what is the only thing that they have in common? And the answer is failure. I don't say so lightly, I say so because it is true. The only thing that they have in common is failure. You're telling me people, and you know, perhaps understand because they can't articulate a vision for the electorate and for the public about jobs and job creation. How can they when they themselves don't have a job? When they themselves are allergic to work? Well, how would you feel as a youngster? You're out there, you're hustling, you're trying to make something in your life. A man telling you he wants to lead, you know, he wants to be in government to make decisions for you, but he's allergic to work. He don't want to work, he can't hold a job for long. Oh, my back hurt me, oh, my foot hurt me. Lord, me can't take it. My pressure gone up, me got headache. Allergic to work. But they're saying to you, put me in a position for me to make decisions for you. Look around. There's some of them whose only existence has been in the public trough. Once they get put out of that, no matter how much they boast and how many degrees they have, they can't do a thing. They can't even open a Freco business. Young people, you all know what name Freco? It's ice. And you scrape the ice. And you put it in a cup. And then you put some syrup on it. Not even that they can create. But they're telling the people of Nevis, put us in a position to make decisions for you. You who get up every morning and go to work. The single mothers out there who are hustling, trying to make ends meet, sending their children to school, doing the best they can, paying their taxes, being good citizens. They're telling you who are working, let me be in a position to make decisions for you. But me not work, you know, and me don't want no work. Me just want to be in government, collect some pay, and let them call me honorable. That's exactly what's happening. And I challenge anybody out there, examine them one by one, two by two. Examine them. Examine the mouthpieces, the spokespersons, and ask them, what are your ideas for the development and the advancement of Nevis? I will continue to say it because in the 2022 local election, the NRP did not even bother to publish a manifesto. A manifesto is where we normally set out our ideas. Where we go to the people and we say, vote for us because this is what we want to do. We want to build a road here. We want to create a poultry industry. We want to do that. We want to create some jobs, some call centers, whatever the case may be. Not even that they did. Basically, the only way you can interpret that is that they had not one single solitary idea that they could share with the electorate. Not one. What was their campaign? Get rid of them. We're fed up of them. Get rid of them. We're fed up of them. But ask yourself, once you have got rid of them, what next? You say, this is in Dolly House, you know, this is a country. This is serious business. And we live now in very serious times, and I keep reminding our people that serious times demand serious attention from serious people. Get rid of them. We're fed up of them. What is the plan once you have got rid of them? What is the plan? There's no plan. Not one idea. Not one suggestion. Not one prescription. Not one policy. None. Get rid of them. We're fed up of them. That's the campaign. That's what is being offered to the people of Nevis. And I am concerned and I'm asking from my vantage point, look, this 2026, let us debate ideas. Let us debate ideas. Let us discuss serious things because the country is faced with serious concerns. The Citizenship by Investment Program, which was the biggest revenue earner for the federal government, from which Nevis got a pittance, but also spurred construction and various activities. There are developers in Nevis who have made their life out of the Citizenship by Investment Program. Agents, lawyers, accountants, you name it. But that program is now on life support compared to the heights that it commanded in yesteryear. We now accept that that program has significantly declined. And if my predictions are correct, it's going to decline further. Not because of anything that anybody here is doing, you know. It's just that the world now has become more hostile to small states like us. Now that CBI program accounted for 55% of the federal budget. The boys in Bastia, 55%, 55 cents out of every dollar came from CBI. In Nevis, I believe the percentage was much lower because we didn't get much of it. I think it was about 28% or something like that, but still significant. question now, what do you do that is now waning? We have moved from heights when we were getting $500 and $600 million a year to where we're now getting barely over 100 million. What do you do? How do you replace 55% of your budget? And I don't think that our people are sometimes understanding the gravity of the situation. They don't understand that fiscal austerity is perhaps going to become the short-term solution until we can do what I have been advocating for years: diversify the economy. Get us away from the over-dependence on any one industry. And I have been saying it, and I'm proud to say that in Nevis, we have been making efforts in that regard. I just came back from Barcelona in Spain. Cold, like a dog nose. Rainy. You think it was easy for me? I had to go, let me see. I went Miami, from Miami to Portugal, from Portugal to Barcelona. When I get there, I don't even know what day or time it is. Straight to work, 2 days. Then flew back 10.5 hours to Miami to get home. 2 days. You think I went because I want to go in the cold and the rain? I came back with a flu. I went because in Barcelona they had a conference called ICE. It is the largest iGaming conference in the world. And I was invited to come to speak to that conference about Nevis and about our efforts, recent as they are. And I'm so pleased to see the level of media. Every 5 or 10 minutes I was doing an interview. All across that conference hall. A conference, believe it or not, that had some 60,000 people in attendance. That is the level of effort that this world now requires if we are going to survive and if we're going to make a difference. When we introduced a movie industry in the heart of the COVID pandemic, many of you scoffed. Many of you laughed at us. But just the other night, I was out with some producers and some big name actors who were here finishing up a shoot, a movie that they were doing over the last several weeks here in Nevis. And they were telling me about the catering, they were telling me about the young people in Nevis who are now involved in the movie business. The people who are finding locations for them, the transportation. The people who are now supporting this new industry that we're trying to create. We have not been sitting still. When we talked about poultry and we started to try and construct the broiler processing facility, I'm prayerful that we can really make some significant progress this year. But again, that was an effort on our part. We look at our import bill for chicken. We know that that import bill is too high and that we could have organic quality chicken locally produced, and we have committed and set ourselves on that path. Diversification. When we brought the Destiny Project and it created all this chatter and people saying all manner of things, it is an effort to say to the people of Nevis, to those young people coming out of sixth form, coming out of CSS, coming out of GSS, coming out of Nevis International Secondary, those who are abroad studying, listen, there is room for you in Nevis, an opportunity for you in Nevis, those small businesses that want to grow and become big businesses. There's room for you in Nevis, there's opportunity for you in Nevis. And I said so recently, and I will say it again. Some of you who may be overseas listening to this very show this evening, prepare yourselves to come home. I was in Canada. I gave a speech and I started my speech saying, it is time for you in Canada to come home, and people started to laugh. But I said, don't laugh, because the way the outer world is now treating us, some of you either decide to come home or you may be sent home. because the outer world is now becoming hostile to people like you and I. And where America used to welcome us, and Canada used to welcome us, and England used to welcome us, and we went there to build up those countries, they're now saying, we don't want you. And I'm saying to our people, Nevis wants you. Can't speak for Sinkits, but Nevis wants you. Come home. You always have a place here. You always have a place home. You're not stateless. You're not homeless. You are Nevision. And if you have things good there and you decide I prefer to stay there, that's okay. But invest a little something back in Nevis. Fix up the old family home that has been left to rot, which have Kusha growing up inside of it. Show some interest in this island that has given so many of us so much. Show that love and that patriotism and invest something in Nevis. You have a fella the other day called me ranting and raving about he gonna fight destiny and he gonna fight with every strand in his body. And I said, partner, listen to me. You left Nevis when you're 17. And the last time I checked, you don't own a full cub in Nevis. Not even a full cub you own in Nevis. So until you show some interest in doing something in Nevis, and this is somebody who's successful, until you show some interest in doing something, I don't want to hear a thing from you. And I did not say it to be disrespectful. I say it because I want our people to have something in them triggered to say, listen, let us start to look homeward. I never forget the lesson of my father, Irvin Brantley of blessed memory. He left here in the 1950s, went to England. From England he left, went to America. He was abroad for nearly 45 years. And Pops always said to me, I know that I'm going home. I may be out here for a while, but Nevis is where I'm going. And he built his house in Prospect. He retired, he came home, and he lived out the rest of his life here. It can be done if we have the will to do it. And I'm saying, as the outer world becomes more hostile to us, let us start to make up our minds and let us start to think about what we can do back home. Well, I am now the Premier of Nevis, and I have said I'm making no apology to anybody. It is my job to create opportunity in Nevis for Nevisians and for those who come here to help us build this island. That's my job. And some may agree and some may disagree, but I'm very focused in terms of what I have to do. What I have to do is to create opportunity for our people in the land of their birth. No young person should be forced to leave Nevis because they don't have nothing to do. And any of our bright youngsters who goes away and comes back with that degree should be able to say, I have a future in Nevis. I can buy land, I can build a home, I can have a career, I can have a family in Nevis. If Bermuda at 21 square miles could have 65,000 people and one of the highest standards of living in the world, if they could do it, why we can't do it? And the irony is that Bermuda has done it, and 60% of Bermudans trace their roots to St. Kitts and Nevis. It means that we, people with our DNA, are the ones who helped to build Bermuda. 21 square miles, 65,000 people. And I hear people here moaning and carrying on about what is possible and what is not possible. Everything is possible if we put our minds to it. And one of the things that upsets me is sometimes when our people are persuaded that they should be small. They're persuaded that some things are beyond us, that they are beyond our capacity. Me, lad, boy, the house is too big of me. Lad, the car, they're not me, boy. Too many of us are told by others we must go and sit in the back of the bus. And we go and we sit down in the back of the bus because we feel that is where we belong. I want to change that mindset. Not to make us arrogant, but to make us confident about our abilities, about this blood that courses through our veins. We are Nevisian. I start to stand up as Nevisians. Stand up as Nevisians. Look for motivation from the greats that we've had amongst us. People have risen from poverty, deprivation, and made something of themselves. I was at a church recently and I heard Pastor Eric Maynard speaking about where he started, the roads that he walked, the lack of paved roads in Nevis, and to see what he was able to build with the Shiloh Baptist Church through the grace of God and his hands and his work. And he's not alone. Look at Sim Daniel, from the bowels of poverty in Barnesgott, Van Samry, bowels of poverty in Rollins. I have told my story. 6 of us in the house, 1 tin of Vienna sausage. Everybody get 1. And every man and child fight for a piece of the last one. As long as I live, I know a tin of Vienna sausage have 7. 7 sausage. If you don't believe me, go and buy one and open it. Because each of us got 1. You've heard these stories. Let us start to look to people who have pulled themselves up, who have done something worthwhile, who are trying to do something worthwhile. And let us use those people as good examples. Teacher Urban Lawrence and his wife, Jean Harris, a nurse extraordinaire, doctors, nurses, teachers, police officers, fishermen, farmers, construction workers. People have done well. Look at a man like Strani Shiverton, Nora Lescott. Let us look at people, because nobody in Nevis was rich. And let me say it, some people out there may want to disagree with me, but Nevis was a society of all poor people. It's just that we didn't know we were poor. Because if the fella next to you ain't got no shoes and you ain't got no shoes, you're all on the same level. Sometimes now when I look back with the benefit of what God has done for me, and I look back and I think about where we were. You know that little wooden house we had in Scarborough, in Hanley's Road? The only reason we were able to get electricity is because my godfather, Spencer Evelyn, worked at the electricity company. And I guess because he had a little privilege, he got us a meter. Without the meter, you can't get electricity. People used to buy lamp. The lamp used to say home sweet home. Lamp had something called a wick. And you buy oil. When they say oil in the lamp, it was a real thing, you know. That was our existence. Some got hurricane lamp and some got the home sweet home. That was us, our existence, when we used to walk up the road and we go by O.T. Thompson, Irvin Thompson. My mother don't have money to buy grocery. And just to tell you what society we had here in Nevis, Mr. Irvin O.T. Thompson used to give us food on credit. You hear what I tell you? He got your little list and you get the little butter, your little lard, your little flour, your little on credit. And then when my father, blessed memory, sent that little money every month from America, we would go, my mother would send me and say, go and pay Mr. Thompson. Tiny Drew from here in Government Road of blessed memory. I pray that she is sitting at God's feet right now, because she was an angel. And when Tiny Drew, a woman who herself was in need, came down Hanley's Road with a suitcase on her head, walking, you know, trying to sell clothes. My mother wanted a little pants for me, but she don't have the money. And Tiny Drew say, take it, man. Go ahead. Pay me when you can. That is our shared experience as Nevisians. And that is why I don't understand today why we have people who say they are Nevisians hating each other. Because all of us came from nothing. And if some of us have been able to achieve something, we should say we have done so through the grace of God. And through this island that has given some of us so much. So when I talked to my partner who left here when he was 17, and he's doing well abroad, and he banging him out about everything. I said to him, come and help Nevis. Because all the degrees and the money and all you've amassed abroad, your foundation was right here in Nevis. Is Nevis people teach you how to read, how to write, and how to do arithmetic. So when you went up America, you were already prepared by us. Well, come back and help us now. Don't stay abroad and tell us how our hospital ain't good enough and our roads are bad and this and come back and help us. And I'm saying that the way I see America and them going on now, if you all don't come, you all may be sent. So prepare yourself. Come down, man. We have too many abandoned properties and things here that belong to people overseas. Come and take care of your property. Come and put down a little Airbnb. Clean it up. Make the neighborhoods look good. The burden cannot just be on us who are here because we are small in number. You're out there, you have global experience. Many of you, global money. You have money to invest. You have experience to share. You have skills to lend. And Nevis is not going to be perfect. Some are asking that we be perfect before they're willing to come home. And I ask the question, I do so rhetorically because I know the answer. Was England perfect when we got on boats and went there? My father, blessed memory, got on a boat in the 1950s. He went to England. I asked him, Pops, why did you go to England? He said, other people were going. So he decided to go. He said he had goat and sheep and a boat, fishing boat. He left everything and went to England. He gets to England, he has no idea of what winter feels like. No idea that they need clothes for 4 seasons. Summer, spring, autumn and winter. No idea that as he walks around the streets of England he can't find housing because there's signs in the window which said flat for let, flat for let, flat for rent. No blacks, no Irish, no dogs. This isn't made up. Our people went to that and we created and sustained the care sector in England, the transportation sector in England. We worked in the factories in England. We went to America. We went to the Bronx and to Brooklyn, Queens, Miami, and we built those countries. We went to Canada. You go up to Kitchener, you find us up there. We've done well, but we built those countries. We contributed to those countries. Circumstances in those countries weren't perfect. Many of us face racism. We face deprivation. Many of us were forced to live cold basement with no heat. But we went. And so I ask the question now. If you could have gone to help build a distant land, without that distant land being perfect, but you assisted in changing their imperfection to perfection, then why can you not help your born-in land, the island of Nevis? And instead of just criticizing us and say, we not got this, and not study them, then backward, them not got that, come and help us get it. Just as you help England get it. Just as you help Canada get it. Come and help us get it. That is my appeal to our people. And I may be long gone because none of us knows what tomorrow holds for us. We're not soothsayers, we know not the future. But if I'm long gone, let it be said of me that I sent out the clarion call to our people to help us. Some of you have much to say. Foreign investment and foreigners coming to take over. Well, if you don't want foreign investment and foreigners to come, then you come. But if you have left and you have not looked back to see how you can help, well, how at the same time you could be vexed with somebody who comes? And I hear people saying Nevis is not perfect, but every day I see new faces in Nevis. New faces, people moving in, taking up jobs, grabbing opportunities. Just today in the cabinet we dealt with some alien landholding licenses. I see my fellow Caribbean brothers and sisters, Jamaican, Dominican, Guyanese, buying property, buying a home, building a home. Nevis is home for them. And I said to myself, well, if a Guyanese could leave Georgetown and reach Nevis, leave Buxton and reach Nevis. A Vinci could leave Mesopotamia and come to Nevis. A Grenadian can leave Cities and Guav and come to Nevis. Trinis, where they live in Port of Spain. Jamaicans live all over St. Catherine, St. Andrew and everywhere. Dominicans are leaving Rosso and reaching to Nevis. How come our own divisions in Miami, Boston, New York, Connecticut are saying that them can't come back here because things here aren't perfect? They can't come back here because here don't have what it is they think they need. I'm calling on our people. Listen, Nevis needs you. We need your help. We need your energy. We need your expertise. We need your investment. We need your ideas. We need you to see Nevis now in a different light and to start to help us accelerate our diversification of our economy and to accelerate our development. We have given enough to the outer world, and the outer world is now selling to us. We don't want you. We don't need you. Somebody sent me something today, say ICE. ICE, that is the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, I think they're called, that they were in the U.S. Virgin Islands today. I don't know if it's true. Somebody from the VI listening, you could call in and let me know. But they said they were picking up people in VI today. The world outside is becoming hostile to us. And I want to end by reminding our people, you always have a home in Nevis. Ladies and gentlemen, this is On the Mark. I'm going to open the lines and see if anybody wants to talk to me. The numbers are 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. Those are the numbers to call. And I'm hopeful now that you will call in. Since I've taken up so much time talking, it is now your time to talk. Let's go to the phones. Good evening, you're On the Mark.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, my dear.
Psalm 134, verse 1, 2, and 3. Behold, bless ye the Lord, all ye servants of the Lord, which by night stand in the house of the Lord. Lift up your hands in the sanctuary and bless the Lord. The Lord that made heaven and earth, bless thee out of Zion. Have a good evening.
Thank you, my dear, and thank you for being the first call, not only tonight, but of the year. I really appreciate you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we continue to take your calls. Do we have anybody else? 869-469-1616 and 1700. Those are the numbers to call, and I ask you please to use the time to call in and share your views. It would be good to get as many calls as we can on the first show of 2026 for On the Mark. Now, whilst I wait for the phones to ring, I just want to update on a few other matters. Of course, we have started out the year. I know that there were some complaints about some potholes. And you know, I am probably going to say something that's going to surprise a few of you. I like when I hear complaints about potholes in Nevis. You may think that's shocking. You know why? Because it means that the roads now are so good that you notice a pothole when it develops. There was a time when we didn't even have roads. But the roads now are so good that every time a little pothole opens up, people complain. And that's good. It's like the water system in Nevis now is so good that anytime water goes off for 10 minutes, people complain. That's good. It's a sign of progress. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're On the Mark. Hello?
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to the best premier of Nevis. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm doing, man. It's so great to hear your voice. Happy New Year.
Man, I listened to you yesterday with the press conference. It was lovely, and everything you're saying tonight, it is true. Don't mind you see some of them in the street. They don't have it tough. Yeah, and some of them even can't walk out now, you know.
Uh-huh.
Some of them can't walk out now because I going to pick up some of them. So they're afraid to walk out. Don't mind you see some of them. I remember, Mark, a lot of division really ain't coming out to this path, you know, like in Tatola. Tatola was built with Kittichon and Antigua, and now they mean traveling out to these paths now. If you look at it, then now the money, American money, mean nothing to them much. Once they have work in the country, it mean coming out because St. Kitts and Nevis is doing well with investment. That's why you see you don't catch much Nevis in Tatola anymore and Kittichon and Antigua because where people want work, which is say them other Caribbean people going to St. Kitts and things. Once they get work, they're comfortable. But what you said all tonight, it is true. What you're saying. You know, you're talking about the days and your papa. Well, my mother and my auntie do the same thing. That's why we in Tatola today. Because it come look out better. And I get to hang out in Nevis and I love Nevis. If I go in a jackpot now, I build a house in Nevis. You know? But everything they said tonight is the truth. Nobody in plain and like come out like you speaking. And again, I listened to yesterday about the doctors came out and do the prostate test. And I think that what they did up there is good because I remember a lot of men right now today is passing off with prostate. It's taking down a lot of men today.
Mm-hmm. But you know, it's one of those cancers, if caught early, it can be dealt with quite effectively. That's right. Why in Nevis we've been preaching detection and knowing your status. It's very important.
Right. So I'm glad when I heard that you said that you had a test up there going on, and we just have it down here in Tatola with the Red Cross also. You know, and we don't have the ignorant man say, oh, they ain't going to, because nobody ain't going to do this, nobody ain't going to do that. But some of them are wait too late to do the test and then want help afterwards. You know. And while I'm here speaking to you, you always talk about the investment. So how the investment, people going with the project in Nevis, so they still plan to do it?
Yes, so where we are with that project is that the Nevis Island government has had a number of engagements with the public, a number of stakeholder meetings, a number of town hall type meetings. We have met with everybody. And we have reviewed and reviewed, we've negotiated, and we have just late in December sent it over to the federal government to indicate that we are satisfied with the proposed agreement. And under the relevant law, it is for them now to sign off on it. It's, of course, a Nevis project. It's not a St. Kitts project. So there is relatively limited involvement from the federal government end. But the law does prescribe that the federal government, because of the nature of the development, that they have a role to play. So we are actually waiting now on the federal government. It is in their hands now. But I spoke to the developers just today, and they are ready to move. They're ready to move. They're saying the minute they get that go-ahead, backhoes and shovels in the ground. So it would be a significant development for Nevis. I think it will transform Nevis. It will create the kinds of opportunities, in my opinion, that will allow Nevisians to come home, that will allow Nevisians here to build a life and build a future here, and it will attract people to the island of Nevis and help us grow and develop. I think that those who are of the view that Nevis can stay where we are and survive are wrong. I think we need to grow. I was in Tortola, where you are recently, and I look at what Tortola has been able to do. I think they tell me they have about, what, 40,000 people or so? And I'm impressed. I'm impressed. And Tortola was built in large measure by those of us from these islands who went there and assisted. You go to the Virgin Islands, where the U.S. Virgin Islands are arguably a little different because they've had America backing them, but still, they too have been built largely by people from this side. And we need people, we need investment, we need to, I think, create a culture where we're open to ideas and to innovation and to new things. Too many of us, our minds are closed off. Too many of us are saying, oh, I don't know that, so I don't want that, and that is bad. In fact, I referenced in my press conference that at one of the meetings that I had, a lady stood up and she started her conversation, her comment, I'm sorry, by saying, I am ignorant of this project. I don't know a thing about this project, but I don't like it. And I said to her, but miss, if you're ignorant and you don't know anything, well, shouldn't you sit and listen and learn something? Once you've heard what it's about, then you could form a view. But how do you hate something and you don't like something and you admit that you don't know anything about it? That's the kind of thing that we're having. So I'm saying to our people, listen, we need to turn the corner. The world is changing, and if we don't change and adapt and do things and innovate and really try to find new ways of making our way, we are going to stagnate. Because nobody out there is coming to help us, you know. We have to help ourselves.
And right now in Satola, in the people, balling to get investment in the country, and when they hear that St. Kitts and Nevis is doing well, they get jealous, because nothing coming here, nothing doing here for investors. And when people hear that people in Nevis, they sometimes it's people are trying to get people who is not thinking for themselves to be stupid. That's why some of them should watch the parliament that you all have in Nevis and St. Kitts to know what's going on. A lot of us as black people, we don't listen to the work going on in parliament. We listen to the outside people who it is going to tell them ignorantly. And that's what happened to us, you know. That's what really happened to us. We listening to what's going on, taking place in Parliament, what it's saying or what it's doing or whatever. We going on with a lot of hearsay all the time. So that's why you see some of them opposition people are glad to deal with people who it is blind and don't read and don't listen to what's going on. Just go with a lot of hearsay in the country. And then when you listen to some of them, Honorable, oh, these people coming in, which I said in the comments yesterday. A lot of these people who is forcing that these other people coming in the country, ask how much of them who rent in the house, who they rent in the house to.
But a lot of them who are complaining about people coming into Nevis, they don't live in Nevis, you know?
Okay.
A lot of the people who are commenting about white people coming Nevis and people this and that, is America them live, you know? Is overseas them live? And so this is this is what puzzles me. Because you left Nevis and you went overseas. You therefore created a vacuum, because it means that clearly we need people, and so people are now coming in, and you are staying overseas, and you're vexed that people are coming to Nevis to find work. How that makes sense?
But wait, I just tell you, some people who are also there, to follow the opposition, say that these people coming in, and they have house or rent out. And who renting the house? Ain't the same people who they follow in the opposition to say that these people come in and they renting the house to these people. So who paying for the house? Now again, one thing I got to ask again, Carl, yesterday. You know the thing about what Trump they saying they want to send out people to other different countries. What do you think about that?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't think we had a choice. I don't think it's a good thing. But from what I'm understanding, just by picking up information here and there, it looks like it was a situation where it's either you accept these folks and help us solve this problem that we have in America, or we are going to take a different approach to you in terms of your people being able to come to the States. And when we saw what happened with Antigua and with Dominica, where they initially said that Antiguans and Dominicans could not get visas. I'm talking about visitors' visas. You know, let's face it, most of our family and thing is in America, you know. A lot of us travel to America, we do business with America, we go to America for medical, we do all kind of things. And so it would have been a very devastating blow to St. Kitts and Nevis if Kittitians and Nevisians were banned from going to the States. And so sometimes, you know, things are unpalatable, and I think this is unpalatable. But I keep saying that leadership is not easy. Sometimes you're faced with decisions, none of the options are good options, and you have to make the best judgment that you can in the interest of your people. And that is sometimes just the nature of leadership.
You know, as you speak we speak about this issue, I personally don't like it, right? Because some creating is stupidness up there, and you gonna be sending other people from different countries where he pick up to send out to other countries where they may belong. I mean, if there is Nevision and Kittitian roots are Nevision and Kittitian were overstaying and things like that, I don't mind. Then responsibility will come, and you know, here are some of these people sending back home. They may have nowhere to live.
Yep.
So here you have to create somewhere for them to live, no work, and then the other people who don't know nothing about St. Kitts and Nevis, he's sending out to these countries, and which come a problem, and it is tough. It is really tough accepting this role. That's my thing is, but I go hang up and listen because, you know, somebody else want to call in and try them to send.
All right, my brother. Well, thank you for the call. I always appreciate talking to you. And I hope everything is good in Tortola.
All time.
All right. God bless. Ladies and gentlemen, we're taking your calls. And the phone is ringing, so we go straight back. Good evening. You're on the mark. Hello?
Hi, good night.
Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Good night, Honorable Premier. How are you?
Good night to you. Happy New Year. I'm well, thank you.
I'm doing well for my age as well.
Good.
Good. Let me greet you well. And in saying, you know, I have been watching and listening for a long time. Yeah? A long time. And I just want to add my 2 cents to the discourse around this development. Because we, as you know, in Jamaica, we have had to deal with special economic zones.
Mm-hmm.
And we, a matter of fact, our opposition leader now, when he was then Minister of Justice, crafted most of the legislation around the special economic zone. Now, I think that the discourse around this thing has been taken down, the discussion is going down the wrong. And let's be real. And you know, I look to the southeast peninsula, and I see a magnificent thing called Safe Harbor LLC. Just the other day when I returned from Jamaica, I saw over 27 yachts over there. The same thing people say what could not materialize, could not come to anything. And by the way, the persons on those yachts are on the strip, Frigate Bay Strip every night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're enjoying themselves and partying, and they're spending funds back with the local people. They go to the different restaurants. I remember one night a yacht was there, and over 100 and something guests, a popular Italian restaurant, I think you know what I'm referring to, right there in the southeast. They didn't even have enough space. So I am saying in relation to this destiny matter. Now, one, the notion that anybody could come into a country and set up their own law is, first of all, nonsensical. Let's be real. Yeah? Now, I remember the discourse was that the law, like in Dubai, would be the English law, yeah, which is common law, by the way. Yeah. So let us be real. The reality that is happening to the CBI, yeah, we have to move swiftly. And I think here in St. Kitts, the Honorable Prime Minister has been saying that we need to diversify. And if we fail to diversify and tomorrow morning those in Brussels decide that enough with you and your operations, your citizenship by investment program, what do we do? What do we do? And you know, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And I grew up around PSN, Portia Simpson Miller, and I know what it is when you're a leader and you have to make a decision. What do you do? When Portia Simpson Miller inherited Jamaica, one of the first things she did in 2011 was she quickly said, let us set up this logistic hub under the special economic zone. Let me tell people what happened there. Right now, there's a contract under the special economic zone with Amazon. Amazon has said to us they cannot find enough storage space in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to craft a specific legislation to allow people like Amazon, because of where we're located, with its proximity to the Panama Canal. Yeah, they have said to us, prepare the space for us. We will bring in the investment and we'll be able to employ more persons. So, you know, one of the things that we need to be real about in this place is that if tomorrow morning this investment begins to start, and as you have indicated to the caller early on, that you had a discussion with the developer, you submitted the development to Senkit, not necessarily that you need the authority of Senkit to act, but as how the legislation is set up, it requires the involvement of the Honorable Prime Minister. Yeah? Now, you know, I asked myself, what would people do? What would the young people in Nevis do? I haven't lived in Nevis before. I haven't spent time in Nevis. The young people of Nevis are asking for jobs. Yeah? The same people, you know. When you're in Nevis, if I were having a drink down by the boys there in St. Thomas's, or I'm having a drink around the corner, they keep on saying people want jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So if people want jobs, and this is going to bring jobs to the people of Nevis, why are you opposing getting jobs to the young people?
But you know what I'm concerned about, you know, Carl, I go beyond that, because I don't mind you're opposed to something, you know. But if you're opposed to this development, then what would you suggest as an alternative? You see, that's the problem to me. If you're in public life, it cannot be just to oppose everything. You must also be willing to offer your vision. So you must be able to tell the young people, this is not the way for you. I can create jobs for you this other way. But that is not happening. So you just basically are saying no to everything. And then, as you say, what are we to tell the youngsters? What are we to tell them?
Remember, you know, any day, and God forbid, any day, the citizenship by investment program can collapse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? And what are we going to say now? The same people in Nevis who say you're not making enough noise about fair share. Yeah? They will be the same ones to see they know it collapse. What they're going to do? As there was a prominent reggae singer who said, see, they know everything crash. Yeah? So we have to be realistic about how we approach the situation. And you rightfully listened to your press conference yesterday. Yeah? And you rightfully asked some poignant questions. Like one, do anybody in St. Kitts know what is going to happen to some of the developments that we have down here?
No.
No. So, but the same people here in St. Kitts,
Mm-hmm.
who, by the way, quite frankly, have never had so much interest in Nevis, never. You know, Premier, and I don't want to water in my mouth when I say this, but you know, the local people have a saying here, and I totally agree with them. It's grudge them grudge, yeah. It's grudge them, because when Four Seasons was being developed, and it's not to knock any developer, but when Four Seasons was being developed, Four Seasons got a lot of land. It was when Ann Bass was doing her development up going up on the mountain there, going up back to Mr. Dry and going up into Banford. Did anybody oppose it? Did anybody say why she was being given so much land?
But not only that, you know, brother, my concern with the few in St. Kitts was so vocal. I see a fellow, for example, posted something on social media and saying that Labour should never approve Destiny because Labour is based on land for the people. And so I went on Google, simple Google, because you know you have these devices now, you can search anything.
Yeah.
And I just type in, how much land is Christophe Harbour?
2,500 acres.
2,500 acres. is what one man Buddy Darby came and bought at Christoph Harbour. You ever hear any town hall meeting?
No.
You ever hear any civil society?
No.
You ever hear any legal challenge?
No.
I mean, you ever hear any furore and this going on?
His
No.
philosophy or his religion or what he believes in.
No.
Whether he's a libertarian, a Republican, or
a Democrat. They went ahead because it represented development on St. Kitts. And I'm saying to them, well, if you not had no strength to cuss about Buddy getting 2,500 acres, this gentleman who's buying this land in Nevis is a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis, you know.
And that is the point I was going to point to, Premier. One of the issues, imagine, and you pointed it out yesterday in your press conference, imagine, we have 50,000 economic citizens possibly out there. Yeah? And when you did your budget presentation last year, not the year before, you pointed out to how can we get some of these citizens to come and invest, right? Let's be real. Europe is becoming very unstable. Very unstable. Yes? Any moment, there might be an invasion of Greenland. And any moment, there might be an invasion on the pole on the Eastern Front. Yeah? So the reality of it is, what do you do? How do you, when these economic citizens come home? We have a lot of Iranians who have our passport. Tomorrow morning, if there's volatility in Iran and they decide to come home, are you going to tell them that they can't come to a country that they have acquired citizenship for? It is nonsensical. It's a nonsensical argument. And the argument that because you weren't born here, right? Other persons here, for example, let's look what happened previously in previous administration. They sat in the ministry that distributed land. And when poor people in St. Kitts could not get land, they distributed it to themselves. And now, the same gentlemen and people are the ones I see now on Facebook talking about destiny. And I ask myself, you know, it's no wonder why the Bible says, you know, you have whitewashed sepulchre. Yeah? That is what you call these people, because they are very hypocritical. The same people who sat down, refused application of people for land, but they were the first to take up land, now talking about land. I mean, it is just nonsensical. It is a non-starter in the argument. But for me, I don't want to take the argument from a personal point of view. I want to take the argument from an economic benefit. What will, you know, when I look at Nevis, last year I brought some friends of mine from Jamaica to Nevis to show them what your government has did with the park. The Taiwanese government and yourself have done with that beautiful Malcolm Gishard Park, named after a great man. And the gentleman said to me, he couldn't believe it was in Nevis. When he looked at the road and the joint venture you did with Surrey Paving and Public Works. By the way, I want people to know they were doing the road going up into the Prime Minister's constituency up there in Monkey Hill. And it was men from Nevis Public Works Department who had to come down and help them. Yeah? So, what we are seeing now is a greater synergy. And you know, today I had a discussion with a developer, and I asked, the developer said to me, what's your view on destiny? I said, let me hear your view on it. Well, it's a bad project, and it's this and it. I said, and no, we'll not have enough construction workers to do it. I said, but St. Kitts and Nevis is one. You know how much people leave St. Kitts in the morning, come up to work at Four Seasons, and how much people leave Nevis to go to Park Hyatt and Marriott. Yeah? So we must now get out of our mind this level of insularity, because our passport says here that it's St. Kitts and Nevis. But I realize, and I'm not afraid to say it, I've realized that every time Nevis makes an approach to development, there are those who are mostly loud because they think that the people of Nevis must cow and they must be afraid. But I say to the people of Nevis, you must determine your own destiny. And if you elect a government, you elect a government to determine that. Yeah? The consultations, I listen to them. I have seen at least 3 consultations on video that I watched, that I was able to sit in my living room and watch it. Yeah? So I'm simply saying to people, I am not trying to sell anything. I'm simply saying, what do we do when the realities hit us? When the world stops and we have no other alternative? Are we going to put up our hand and say, Allah? We can't. We cannot. And so I am not trying to sell anything to anyone. I'm simply saying to people, do you want your children, every father wants their son or their daughter to be way better than they are. If you don't have that desire for your children, then you're not worthy of being a parent. Premier, may God bless you, continue the hard work, and as you always say, ignore the noise, because in noise, them say you can't make noise and catch monkey, you know. Yeah? So continue to do your work.
All right, my brother.
All the best.
All right. Thank you very much, and thank you for all that you've said. I don't think that anybody could dispute the accuracy and the cogency of what you said, because I think all of it is true. And there's a level of hypocrisy that we're seeing in some of these so-called pundits. People are motivated, I think, by other factors other than the best interest of Nevis and the development of Nevis. I know the opposition in Nevis opposes everything, so I'm not too worried about them. But I also, caller, made the observation, and when I look at some of these people, they're people who have already lived their lives, or people who live abroad. And I find that instructive and interesting. Nobody's saying, what about the young people that you focused on tonight? Nobody's saying, what about that young entrepreneur, that small business person who's trying to grow their business? Those people aren't being taken into account. You're hearing a ton load of noise from people who are older, who have already lived their lives, people who are trying to get into political office, and then the people overseas. And then, of course, my friends in Sinkits, who, as I said, are being very hypocritical when they now say how much I love Nevis, because we know that that is not true. Let us go back to the lines and get some more calls. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Yeah. Good evening.
Caller, please move away, take off the phone, the radio if you have it on. We're getting a feedback. Hello? Okay, let's try this other caller then. Hi, good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening, Honorable Brantley.
Good evening to you.
Welcome forward.
Good to hear your voice.
It's so nice hearing you.
Good hearing you as well.
Yes, give thanks. Yes, I'm going to read just about 2 verses here. Fret not thyself because of evil men, neither be thou envious at the wicked. For there shall be no reward to the evil man. The candle of the wicked shall be put out. Your program tonight is a very wonderful program. I'm enjoying it very, very much. And may God continue to bless you, keep you, guide you, and protect you from all harm and danger. And keep doing what you're doing best. Okay?
Thank you very much, and God bless you too, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you today.
All right.
Okay, good night.
Take good care. Thank you. Let's go back to the phones and try again. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Yeah, good evening. Dave, any update on the airport project?
Okay, thank you for that, caller. Yes, we have actually started some what I would call pre-construction work, because I got a report from our project manager, Michael Perkins, that they already have some heavy equipment moving, clearing some areas. They're mapping out with the surveyors the precise points for the new road and roundabout and all of that. So that is going on in parallel with us tying up the remainder of the lands that we need. So yes, there's some activity that has started already, and we are hoping to get to a point where we could have a full-fledged start of the project. But the preliminary works, or what I would call the pre-construction works, those are ongoing. I think we're still waiting on some soil testing that was done. That should be in, I hope, this week. And we will, of course, keep the public updated. But I did give a bit of an update yesterday at my press conference. So thanks for that call. But that's a very important project that we have embarked upon, and that we hope that we can bring to successful fruition for the benefit not only of those here today, but the benefit of those for generations to come. It is 20 minutes to the hour of 10 o'clock. If you just tuned in, this is On the Mark. My name is Mark Brantley. I'm the host, and this is our first show for 2026. And so we're inviting your calls at 869-469-1616. and 869-469-1700. Those are the numbers if you want to be a part of this, our first show for 2026. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, there is a lot that's happening. Our teams are out. I was commenting about some people lamenting that there were a few potholes in the roads. I'm very happy to say that the teams are now out and those are being addressed promptly, as we tend to do. And we will continue, of course, to roll out our program of roads and development and construction. I'm very happy that we've just received a new 500,000 gallon water tank that is going to be erected, I'm told, at Stony Hill, and that we will continue investing in water, water storage, water distribution, continue investing in our capacity to deliver water, that essential resource, to our people. I feel very proud that the people of Nevis have water 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in every single community in Nevis. There's no community in Nevis that is not served by water that the government provides. And that did not come about by happenstance. That did not come about by accident. That came about by investment. It came about by policy. It came about by a government that is committed to the sustainable development of the island of Nevis and the well-being of the people of Nevis. I'm pleased to say that our electricity supply has improved tremendously. The days of rolling blackouts and all those are over. The only time those things happen now if there is a problem. The reality is that, again, over the last 12 or so years, we have bought not one, not two, but 3 engines for our power station. 2 brand new and 1 that was refurbished. And those engines are helping to carry the load to ensure that we have an adequate supply of power for the people of Nevis. Again, investing in a sustainable way to ensure that our people have a quality of life. Nevis now, when the power goes out or the water goes off, people start to scream because they are not accustomed to that anymore. I know sometimes people take these things for granted, but these are examples of governments with good policies that benefit people. And we were able to do all that. Water improvement, road improvements, electricity improvements, build a brand new treasury in town from the one that was burnt down, brand new police station at Newcastle, a water taxi pier. All of these projects we were able to do whilst receiving just a pittance of the CBI money. And so you ask yourself the question, if in fact we got what we should have had, oh my goodness, could you imagine Nevis? Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, caller, you're on the mark. Caller, please call back in. I apologize for that. We would love to hear you and love to hear your views, so if you can call back in, we will certainly put you on the air and have a conversation. Let's go back to the phones. I think the caller has called back in. Let's try. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello?
Premier Brantley, good night.
Yes, good evening, you're on the air.
Yes, good night, Premier Brantley.
Oh, Happy New Year, brother. Happy New Year. Good to hear you.
Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Notice that you get all the cards in your favor tonight, man.
Well, I'm happy you're going to add to it now. Go ahead.
Yeah, but make up different.
Okay, go ahead.
Premier Brantley, me listen to your press conference, and it seems like me hear one different thing than what the other callers are here. So let me start with your MC or your the guy that start the press conference. He say that this year will be a successful 2026 on all front. That's how we start. Before he bring you on, right? That's only show you that me may listen. But here, you know, Premier Brantley, the first question me go ask you when nobody asks you, will 2026 be an election year?
Well, we'll know that when the Lord speaks to me.
Okay, that they show me that you know got too much confidence.
Oh, really?
Okay, so
wait, let me ask you something. Me have 2+ years left in a term. What you ask me about election? Elections supposed to happen every 5 years, and during that time, people supposed to get to work. I'm working. What election you asking me about?
All right, no problem.
All right.
No problem. No problem. Let me ask you now. You say that the project, our island, our Nevis project, but according to how the something set up, so you send them the for doctor just sign off on or something like that. Okay. If me may follow both you and Dr. Joe very, very carefully, Dr. Joe say before the project thing, he have to debate now the island administration before he Dr. Joe can sign off.
You have to debate in the Nevis Island. What are you saying, sir? I'm not understanding you.
He said the project. He said it's Dr. Joe say not once, not twice, over and over. He said what they at the like at the vehicle, the legislation for the
But yeah.
for the something. But he said when the project, he have to debate not the Davis Island administration before he Dr. Joe don't not the federal something can sign off.
No, I think you're probably misunderstood. The project is a project in Nevis, so the project comes to us as it has. We have been negotiating an agreement. We've had town halls and discussions with the public, which has informed our view. And once we are satisfied with that agreement, which we are, it is then for the NIA to send that to Sinkits to say, hey, we have looked at this and we are satisfied with it and we want you to sign off on it. What the legislation, then says is that that agreement should be signed both by the Prime Minister and by the Premier, and then it should go to the Parliament to be debated and passed into law. And having been passed into law in Nevis, that is at the Nevis Island Administration, it then goes to the Federal Parliament to be ratified. That's what the law requires. Those are the steps involved. So it is not that we sign an agreement in Nevis and go to Parliament in Nevis and then it goes to Sinkits. That's not the way it works. So I hope you're a bit clearer now in terms of the steps. So we have completed the first step. We have completed the first step in that we have looked at it. We have said we agree. Nothing is signed yet. But we say we agree. We send it to Sinkits. They have to look at it. And then once they sign off and we sign off, that is when now it goes to the Parliament. That is when it becomes a matter of public record and we have the debates surrounding it.
Okay.
So that's a bit clearer, caller. Hello? Hello, caller? Hello?
Just saying at the press conference.
Okay, now, we got you back now. We had lost you for a bit, but you're back now. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're saying at the press conference that you're ready to get bulldozers and so out there on the stops to get them trees uprooted, get the place map out and so forth and so. Me here right with that?
This is where you're talking about the airport?
No. We talk about
the Destiny project.
Exactly.
Oh yes. I mean, well, the people are saying they're ready to go, and I can tell you that our local truckers and backhoe operators and heavy equipment people are. They're ready to go. You understand? Right. The people are ready.
Right. So tell me, of the properly paid and all the owners and so don't sell out of the clear that they're ready to go.
I'm not understanding, Carl. You broke up a bit. What was the question?
They ask if up the clear, if all the landowners and so don't sell out them property, so up the clear that you're ready to go.
Well, I don't know if all the landowners have sold. That is obviously a matter for landowners. But based on what I was told is that they have secured sufficient land to proceed with their project. So maybe not all the phases of the project, but certainly to proceed with the project, they have secured sufficient land. I think the percentage they told me was something like, I can't really recall. I think it's 65% or 70%, something like that.
So they clear. Them satisfied with Walla Nengat, they're ready to go.
Well, they're saying that they have sufficient land that they can start the project, as I've just explained. Right?
Yeah. Okay. But tell me something now. The board now that I am supposed to set up for scrutinize the whole something that the board.
No, again, you're probably mistaken. The law does not say that we are supposed to set up any board. It's called an oversight body.
The oversight body.
Right. The law says that it may be done. It does not say that it has to be done.
Okay.
We have decided that we will set up a body to oversee the project and the development of the project. But we have not yet completed that process.
Yes.
But I want to be very clear that the law, I think is section 9, it says that for a project in Nevis, the Premier may set up an oversight body, and for a project in St. Kitts, the Prime Minister may set up an oversight body.
Okay. Man, maybe that. Okay, then, Premier Brantley, if I get back in next week. But if we get back in, we get back in. If not, next week. All right?
All right, my brother. Well, it's good to hear, and I hope you had a good Christmas season.
Yeah, I hope you got on good. Hope you make on good. It seems like you was me very busy because the new year start, and I know at the end of the month you're coming to us, so that means it seems like you was very, very busy.
Yeah, I did have some travel, and so that kind of kept me. And as I said, I wanted to do the first show myself. So thanks for calling, and thanks for being a regular caller. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, my brother.
I will touch base.
Okay, cheers. Bye-bye. We have about 8 or so minutes left, and we can take 1 or 2 more calls for sure. So we're inviting you to call at 869-469-1616 or 869-469-1700. The show has been live and lively tonight, and certainly we are very happy to be back for the first edition of On the Mark for the year 2026. Goodness gracious, we've been here so long. When I look back to 2006 and we are now 2026, we're still here with the grace of God. I'm a little gray, but we're still here, and my voice is still strong, and I'm still loving the fact that people call in and people listen. And on Wednesdays, people have their radios and their internet set to the Eastern Caribbean's only powerhouse, VON Radio, the voice of Nevis. Let's go back to the phones. And I say, good evening, caller, you're on the air. Hello?
I come back because yesterday, yesterday, me hear something and me hear. When one day asked about the poultry farm, you said that Mr. Evelyn.
Caller, you keep breaking up. I'm not sure why. I hear the poultry farm.
Yeah, and when the reporter asked you how we go with that, you said that Mr. Evelyn are the one that run that.
I said Mr. Evelyn and Minister Brand. That the cabinet had mandated both of them to deliver on that particular project.
Okay, I mean, I'm really here, Mr. Brand.
Okay.
Here, Evelyn. Okay, no problem. Before them. But, and you said they didn't give you an update.
I said I didn't have an update yesterday, yes.
Yeah. So that's why people must say, why you not bring the ministers then with you? So now you could have just written either one or the 2 of them, and then the answer they provided yesterday.
Well, there was one question that didn't get an answer. Every other question got an answer. The ministers are busy. The ministers are busy working, and the press conference caller is the Premier's press conference. It's not the cabinet press conference.
Yeah, but even at the Premier press conference, other premiers and prime ministers and so forth. We will check out that Harris got he go to people right there.
Well, that was
You
his
get
that was his style. That is not my style.
Yes.
And so
Anyway, one more. They asked yesterday again about the deportees, and you say that okay, if a deportee come to St. Kitts and you come over to Nevis, you got no control. Remember you said that?
yes, well, that's true.
All right. No, we're ready with that there. Then say that, then debate down the St. Kitts and you position, so you couldn't be in the room with them when they debate that. That the government side.
Yes.
Okay. That may understand thinking. But Premier Brantley now, let me face the fact. You are the Premier of Nevis. The deputies them come, you can't stop them from coming. So that they have to affect Nevis too. You know, think that Prime Minister Joe is supposed to talk to you. Discuss this with you before even talk to Washington.
Well, I think given the unique circumstance of our constitutional construct in St. Kitts and Nevis, yes, in fact, yesterday I said so, that we need to have greater dialogue, greater engagement between Bastia and Charlestown, because decisions taken by Bastia have an impact on Charlestown. If 10,000 people arrive tomorrow into Bastia through that deportee program, they can decide, well, I prefer to be in Nevis, and there's nothing that Nevis can do about it. So I agree with you that greater conversations need to happen in order for us to better prepare. Somebody asked me at the conference, they said, is Nevis prepared? Can Nevis handle? What is the capacity? And I couldn't answer any of those questions because, frankly, we have not turned our mind to it in Nevis because we were not a part of the conversation. Having said that, however, I also appreciate that the federal government is the entity that has responsibility for things like foreign affairs. I was there myself. And as the foreign affairs and the way that diplomacy works, they engage with the outside world. So the Prime Minister or perhaps his foreign minister would have had to engage with the Americans on this, and they would have taken their decisions based on that engagement. I think the point that you're making is a point that I agree with, that there really does need to be greater engagement between Nevis and St. Kitts, not only on this, but on a number of other things that happen, and then we have to deal with both. Meaning, for example, I'll give you a good example, time is running out, but during the Denzel Douglas years, the decision was taken to remove the place of birth from our passport.
You remember that?
That decision resulted ultimately in Canada imposing visa restrictions on the people of St. Kitts and Nevis.
You remember that?
Now, that was a decision that had catastrophic consequences for the people of Nevis, even though the people of Nevis had no control, were never consulted, and had no understanding even of what was going on. So that again is an example. So I do believe there needs to be greater conversation and collaboration, but the constitution that we have, sometimes I think it allows that to happen, other times it makes it difficult, but we need to do the best that we can, and I think with goodwill on both sides, goodwill in Charleston and in Bastia, we can in fact do a lot better. So that is my hope, and that is why I'm hoping for that for 2026 we do better all around. The banner struck up, call us. I think we have to go.
No problem.
All right, I'll talk to you next week, God willing.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the banner struck up. It's 10 o'clock. Our show is a wrap. Thank you very much for all who called. I enjoyed being here this evening. I love my Wednesday evening, spending it with my people. Thank you, good night, and God bless. This show is rebroadcast tomorrow, I think. Is it at 1 p.m.? At 1 p.m. So if you didn't hear it tonight, you can hear it tomorrow. And some people say it's so nice, they listen twice. Thank you. Good night. God bless you. Happy New Year. See you next week, God's willing.
The views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting